Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Ruby Management Academy. This is your mentor Rubina. Hope all of you are doing very well. Am I audible to everyone, guys? Can you please reply so that I can start the class without any delay? Am I audible to everyone? I think all of you are doing preparation for 2023 exam. Am I audible to everyone? Today in this video we are going to be discussing the concept on validity and its types of validity in research aptitude. Before we move forward, a gentle reminder to all of you, those who are not subscribed yet, kindly do like, share and subscribe my channel and ask all of your friends to join the session. As we are going on live session, ask them to join the session. If you could remember this concept about the validity and reliability concept in research aptitude, there was a question asked in 2022 exam in UGC NET paper 1. If you could remember that question. What was that question? What was that question asked from this concept? Can you please reply in the comment box? Shall we start the class or shall we wait for your friends until they get joined? Am I audible to everyone? I know my voice is not audible. It was little bit clumsy as I am suffering from cold. Kindly respond. If it is audible, I will start the class. Chalo, let us get started. Today in this video, we are going to be learn about the validity concept in research aptitude. I think you already heard about these two terms in research. Those are validity and reliability concepts. Am I right? However, in this video I am not going to explain about the reliability concept. Maybe in the next video it will be discussed. But before we enter into the concept of validity, let me give you the glance about these two terms. What is reliability and what is validity? What is the difference between these two? Sometimes used interchangeably in research and as well as in evaluation. However, the meaning is different from both of the terms of reliability and validity concept. Actually, these are the concepts used to evaluate the quality of research. These two terms are used for evaluating the quality of research. Evaluating the quality of research. While the class is going on, kindly make the key points, kindly note of them. It will be helpful to revise the concept at the time of examination and it will be helpful to remember for long time. While the class is going on, kindly make the notes of that. These are the concepts used to evaluate the quality of research. For every experiment you need to pay attention for too many things. They indicate how well a test measures something. If I say in a simple word, reliability is about the consistency of measurement, whereas validity is talking about the accuracy of measurement. Reliability is talking about the consistency, whereas validity is talking about the accuracy of the measurement. Accuracy of the measurement. it is important to consider these two terms when you are creating your research design, research planning, and planning your research methods and writing up your results, conclusion, especially in quantitative research. Especially in quantitative research. I will give you the simple example. Listen carefully. If I ask you the question about what is quantitative research, when all of you guys know the answer of my question. What was my question? What is quantitative research? Here I am giving the example for this both the terms. When all of you guys know the answer of my question, that will be known as reliability. Understood? But when you have different answer for my question, it is validity. I hope you understood the difference between these two. Did you catch my point? Here I asked the question about what is quantitative research. When all of you guys know the answer of my question, that will be reliability. Everyone knows about the quantitative research. What is quantitative research? That will be considered as a reliability concept. But when you have different answers for my question, it is validity. Chalo, let us enter into our today's concept, that is validity. Here the definition is given by Kelly. The concept of validity was formulated by Kelly in the year 1927. He said, who started that the test is valid if it measures what it claims to measure, what supposed to measure. These terms will be helpful to evaluate the quality of research. These are the important concepts which will be helpful to evaluate the quality of research. If you observe this diagram talking about the reliability and validity. If you observe this diagram, the evidence of this reliability, the evidence of these results are reliable but not valid. Hope you understood my example, simple example. Chalo, let us go through what are the types of validity. In scientific research, there are different types of validities are used to test whether the obtained results meet the actual aim of the research or not. The validity used in research is divided into two main categories. What are they? Inference validity and construct validity. Inference validity and construct validity. Inference validity applicable to the whole study, whereas the construct validity applicable to the measurable variables in the study. Here talking about the whole study. Here the variables, special variables will be discussed. Inference validity refers to the validity of research design as a whole. It refers to whether you can trust the conclusion of a study. It is the process of drawing a conclusion from supporting evidence. When you go beyond the evidence and reach some further conclusion, that will be comes under construct validity. I will explain you these two terms with the example. For example, you are about to attend the meeting at 9 o'clock. For example, if you are about to attend the meeting at 9 o'clock. But there is lot of chatter coming from inside the room when you enter into the company. So you can conclude that there is a 9:15 meeting that has not started yet. Understood? For example, what I am saying, listen carefully. If you are about to attend the meeting at 9 o'clock, when you enter into the company, there is a lot of chatter coming from the inside the room. Based on this, you can conclude that there is a 9:15 meeting, because The meeting was not started yet. The noise is coming from the inside the room. So people are talking inside the room. Itself conclude that there is a meeting at 9:15. Both types of validities are further divided into subparts. If you can show, as shown in this flow chart, construct validity has been classified into two types. Those are translation validity, criterion based, whereas inference validity has been classified into two types. Those are internal and external. Let us discuss one by one. Here the translation again subdivided into subparts. The criteria also divided into subparts. Let us discuss one by one. As of now, we have discussed what is reliability and validity, what is the difference between these two terms, and what are the types of validities. We talked about the construct validity as well as inference validity. Here inference validity talking about the whole study, whereas the construct validity refers to the variables. It will be applicable to measure the variables in the study. Chalo, let us discuss the subparts of construct validity as well as inference validity. Inference validity. What is in inference validity has been classified into two types. What are they? Internal and external validity. Internal validity refers to the validity of research itself. Internal validity talking about the research itself. Research itself. If I tell you the example about the internal validity, exploring the university students' ease of integration from all community students, but surveying only particular community students. Here the survey is conducted in the university and want to explore the university students' ease of integration from all the community students. But with the help of this internal validity, the surveying only particular community students, it will be the results properly indicate all the students' ease of integration. What does it mean? Is there any other external factors that should not be explained that results of the study in the internal validity? No. The external variables or external factors will be discussed, will be happen in the external validity, not in internal validity. Here what we are measuring, we are focusing on that variables only, not going beyond the external factors. Understood? Here surveying the ease of integration from all the community students, but surveyed only particular community student, not focusing on other communities, surveying only in particular community. That will be happen in internal validity only, whereas external validity, the other external factors should be explained in the external validity. Here the external validity refers to the extent to which the results of the study can be generalized to other settings, other people, and over time. Here the other factors should be considered, whereas in internal validity the other factors won't be considered. The external validity can be improved by setting experiments in more natural settings and using random sampling to select participants. Have you understood my example? In internal validity itself indicating focusing on the internal factors only, not focusing on other external factors. That will be happen in external validity only. If I said in other words, the internal validity is there is a causal relationship between the independent and dependent variable. The external factors won't be considered under internal validity. That was the difference between internal and external validity. In this example, the university of students, of surveying this university of students ease of integration, only surveying the particular community students, not focusing on other community students. the results properly indicating all the students is of integration, but the surveying only particular community students, where we are not focusing on other extraneous variables, which may be a ecological validity, ecological reasons, people, time, not considering the other extraneous factors. This is the difference between internal and external validity. If you can observe this diagram, see, the internal validity relates to how well a study is conducted, whereas external validity relates to how applicable the findings are in the real world. Whatever the findings we found in this internal validity, how those results will be applicable to the real world. In the internal validity of any research has three conditions. Here the internal validity of any research having three conditions. What is the first one? The independent and dependent variable in the study should change together. Independent and dependent variable should be changed together. The second condition of this internal validity is the independent variable should precede the dependent variable in the study. It can precede the dependent variable. The third one is any other extraneous factors should not explain the results of the study. As I told you just now, under internal validity we are not talking about any extraneous variables. We are not focusing on any other extraneous factors. Should not be explaining the results of the study. If I tell you one more example for that, suppose I want to test a hypothesis that the children need to grow fast. If the children want to grow, in this way I make two groups. If the children want to grow, in this way I am making two groups, group A and group B. Group A consists of 5 children. For example, group A consists of 5 children. How many children are there in group A? 5 children. And group B consists of 5 children. Group A, for their growth, group A 5 children are taking the Complan. They are drinking Complan for their faster growth. Whereas group B children are not taking the Complan. The children in group A and group B are identical, because we are taking 5 children in the group A as well as 5 children in group B. But here group A children only taking the drink of Complan for their faster growth, whereas group B are not taking. After 2 months, the children measure the average height of the children. If we measure the height of the children after 2 months in both the groups, here the independent variable is the amount of Complan. Here what is the independent variable? Independent variable is Complan of each group of children gets, and the dependent variables is average weight. What we are going to be find in this study? We want to find the height of the average height of the children. Here this average height will be considered as a dependent variable, and the Complan becomes the independent variable of each group. Here no other external factors are considered, and all these three conditions of internal validities are satisfied in this experiment. Hope you understood. If I talk about the external validity, I will tell you the one more example for this external validity. Let us take this same example. However, although the results are in accordance with the hypothesis, they can't be generalized to the entire population. This study neglects other factors. If I take the same example, Complan. If I talk about the Complan, Group A students, Group A children are taking the drink of Complan compared to Group B. After 2 months, if we measure the average height of the children in both the groups, they can't be generalized to the entire population because this study neglects other factors like diet, routine, exercise. All these factors may impact on the growth of the children. Here, if you observe, here are the extraneous factors which we are focusing under external validity. This is what I want to explain you guys. Hope you understood this concept. If you recollect the first example, in internal validity, we are not focusing on any external variable in order to find the growth of the children. Whereas in external validity, here the other external factors are impacting on the study. Through maybe diet is also impacting on their growth, routine, the way they are taking the diet, the way they are taking their routine is also will impacting on the external validity on their faster growth, and their exercise also may impact on the faster growth. Here we are considering the external factors in external validity. This is the difference between internal and external. Under internal, we are not going to be focusing on any external variable or any external factors, whereas in external validity we are focusing on other external variables. It relates to how applicable these findings to the real world, whatever the results we find in internal validity. Hope you understood. Let us discuss the sub parts of construct validity. Here the construct validity refers to the validity of the measured variables in the research. It provides the surety about the measuring tools, whether they actually measure the things we are interested in. The construct validity is divided into two subtypes. What are they? Translation validity and criterion based validity. Construct validity, if I talk about the example about the construct validity, what it indicates, it measuring the variables in the research which provide the surety about the measuring tools. It will provide the surety about the measuring tools. If I give you the example for this construct validity, for example, if we want to measure the depression, which we can't measure directly, isn't it? We can't measure directly of the depression, but based on existing psychological research and theories, many other existing theories, we can measure depression based on collection of symptoms as well as the collection of indicators such as low self-confidence, low energy levels. All those things may leads to the depression. With the help of those things, we can measure the depression, which we can directly measure under construct validity. It will give the surety about the measuring tools, because as existing study or prove that with the help of the indicators we can measure the depression. The translation validity. What is translation validity? What it refers? It is a subjective evaluation that examines whether the selected measures of the study are similar or different to the subject of the overall desired aim of the study. Again, this translation validity has been classified into two types. Those are face validity and content validity. Face validity, it accounts the defining of a research project as good or bad based on the judgment. This face validity appears to measure what it is supposed to measure. What it is supposed to measure. For example, if you want to measure an employee work efficiency, if you want to measure employee work efficiency, if you want to measure the employee work efficiency based on the punctuality only, or the reading speed. If I give the other example, if you want to measure the reading speed by computing how much of a passage a person can read in a given time. For a survey, the assess this face validity with the help of these things. That will talk about the face validity. If I give the other example, if you want to survey the assess thrill-seeking behavior, you could expect to include the questions about seeking excitement, getting bored quickly, risky behaviors. If this survey contains these questions on its face, based on this survey seems like a good representation of what you want to test. So you consider it to have a high face validity based on this behavior. That is talking about the face validity. Have you understood this example? For example, if you want to assess the thrill-seeking behavior, for that you need to include some type of questions, some related questions in your questionnaire about seeking excitement, getting bored quickly, risky behavior. After containing these questions only, you can find the measure of face validity. On its surface, the survey seems to like a good representation of what you want to test. So you need to be conclude that to have the high face validity. If we talk about the content validity, it is somewhat similar to the face validity, but it is a more accurate form. It involves assessing the individual questions on a test and asking experts whether each item appraises the characteristics that the instrument is designed to cover. If I give you the example about the content validity, if you want to measure the attitude and activities of thrill-seeking behavior, they need to determine whether the questions sufficiently cover the both of those aspects or not. Here, what are those aspects we have taken in this example, in this survey? Attitude and activities. Attitude and activities. We need to be determined whether the question sufficiently covered these two aspects or not. If it conduct a test on a research aptitude, the test should cover every concept that was taught in my class. Understood? This content validity helps to measure the research accurately representing the subject researcher, what the researcher want to measure. Here Bollen has been given the definition for this content validity. What he said, it is a qualitative type of validity. Content validity is a kind of qualitative type of validity where the domain of concept is made clear and analysts judge whether the measures fully represent the domain or not. One more example I remember. Let me tell you. If the test should If I take if I want to conduct a test on research aptitude, for example, listen carefully guys. If I want to test the if I want to conduct a test on research aptitude, if I want to conduct a test on research aptitude, the test should cover every concept that was taught in my class. If some concepts are left out, then the results may not be an accurate indication of students' understanding of the subject. Similarly, if I include the questions that are not related to research aptitude, then the results are no longer a valid measure. Understood? Here the test which I am going to be conduct is on research aptitude. If I include the questions that are not related to this research aptitude, then the results are no longer a valid measure. The test should cover every concept which I have taught in my class. Then only the results accurate indication of the students' understanding of the subject. Understood? If I include the other concept in the research aptitude, the results may not be valid. That is the concept talking about the content validity, talking about the accurate representation of the results, what we want to measure. Hope you understood. Let us go to criterion based validity. Here this criterion based validity is helpful to check the relation of the measure used in the research to other characteristics and measures. Again, this criterion validity has been classified into subparts or subcategories. What are they? Predictive validity, concurrent validity, convergent validity and discriminant validity. The criterion validity is talking about the research to the other characteristics and measures, not on the key points. Research to other characteristics and measure. If I tell you the example about the criterion validity, if the researcher may ask employees to report their salaries, if the researcher asking the employees to report their salaries, the survey validity can be established if the self-reported salaries correlated with the actual salaries. Understood? If the self-reported salaries correlated with the actual salaries, that will be considered as a criterion validity. If I tell you the other example for this criterion based validity, if I conduct a test to measure applicants, especially in essay writing in English, to assess how well the test really does measure the students' writing ability, and it finds an existing test that is considered a valid measurement of writing ability, and compare those results when the same group of students take the both tests. If the outcomes are very similar, the new test has high criterion validity. If the outcomes are not similar, the test is low criterion validity. Understood? Let us discuss the subtypes of criterion validity. Predictive validity. The first one is predictive validity. It assesses the ability of the measure variables to predict the future events and abilities. In these evaluations, the results obtained by testing a group subject to a certain construct are compared with the future results. Here, the main key point of this predictive validity is measuring the variables to predict the future events and abilities. If I give the example for this predictive validity, if we want to test how high school students will perform in college, I want to test how high school students will perform in college. I am focusing on school students, high school students, how their performance in college, comparing school with comparing their school results with college achievements. If these tests have high predictive ability tests, scores will have a strong positive correlation with the college achievement. Here, testing this type of validity requires the assessment and then measuring the actual outcome, comparing their predicting the future events based on the previous results. Here I am considering their high school results and checking their performance in college. This predictive ability, talking about the measuring the variables to predict the future events and abilities. In concurrent validity, it evaluates the ability to distinguish between different groups. It provides the correlation between the test conducted in the research with other previously conducted research. If I give you the example for this concurrent validity, if you administer two different IQ tests, I want to administer two different IQ level tests to the same groups, to the same groups. There should be a strong positive correlation between their scores. That will be talking about the concurrent validity. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. What is the next one? Convergent validity. Convergent validity determines whether the construct that are supposed to be related or to be related. I will explain this concept with example. Listen. If we want to measure self-esteem, listen carefully. If you could remember, there was a question from convergent validity in 2022 UGC NET paper 1. This is the concept. What it indicates? It determines whether the constructs that are supposed to be related or to be related. If I want to measure the self-esteem of a person, but we also know that the other four constructs are impacting on the self-esteem. What are the four constructs are impacting on the self-esteem, which are related to the self-esteem? These four constructs are related to the self-esteem. This validity test will also check the self-worth and confidence and self-social skills, self-appraisal, also related to our research. Understood? These are the constructs that are supposed to be related. Here I want to be measure the self-esteem. Here I want to be measure the self-esteem. But I know other factors, other four factors are impacting on the self-esteem. The self-appraisal may impact, the self-confidence may impact, the self-worth may impact. So other social skills also may impact on their research. That is the concept talking about the convergent validity. The discriminant validity is opposite to the convergent validity. It is opposite to convergent validity. If I give you the example, take the same example of self-esteem. If I want to measure the self-esteem and intelligence, should not be related to the test measuring loyalty, and test measuring the favorite color is not correlated. Here the constructs that are supposed to be not related, Note down this point. Whereas in convergent validity, the factors may related to the other factors, whereas discriminant validity, the constructs are supposed to be not related, to be not related. If I want to be measure the self-esteem and intelligence test, but these tests should not related to test the measuring loyalty and a test measuring the favorite color, because these are unrelated. That is the concept talking about discriminant validity. This means that it is only measuring the construct it is supposed to measure and not the other construct. Whereas in convergent validity, it may happen. It measures the construct it is supposed to measure. The other constructs also can relate it to the measurement. Whereas in discriminant validity, it won't be happen. It is supposed to measure but not other construct. It focusing on only measuring the construct. As I tell you the example of self-esteem and intelligence test, for these tests, the results should not be related to the test measuring the loyalty, and the test measuring the favorite color is not correlated to the construct. These are the types of validity under criterion based validity. These are all the types of validity. I hope you understood. Here is the overview of the types of validity. Go through this table once. Take this screenshot of this table. After this session, you can read this one. Take this screenshot of that. Here the translation validity, criterion based validity. Translation validity has been classified into two subtypes. What are they? Face validity, content validity. Criterion validity again classified into subtypes: predictive, construct, convergent and discriminant. Face validity talking about the does it mean the same things as the concept. Content validity, do all the elements of the measure seems connected in the right direction to the concept. Whether all the measures what we have taken are connected in the right direction or not. It will check through with the help of content validity. Predictive validity helps to predict the future events. Predicting, the name itself indicating predicting the future events. Concurrent validity, it discriminates the between groups, whereas convergent validity correlate the positively with the other measures of the same constructor. Similar constructor are to be considered under convergent validity. It is quite opposite to the discriminant validity. The other construct won't be considered under discriminant validity. Here is the homework question. This was the question which was asked in the previous exam paper in 2022. Give me the answer in the comment box. I hope you understood this concept. Shall I conclude this session? Do you have any doubts? You can ask me here itself. I can try to resolve your doubts. Have you understood this concept, guys? Do you have any questions regarding this concept? This is all for today, guys. I think no one has having any doubts or queries. Shall I conclude? Okay. Thank you for watching, guys. This is all for today's class. Hope you enjoyed this session. Are you really enjoying my sessions? If you are really enjoying my session, don't forget to like the video. If you like my work, please share my videos with your friends. If you are really enjoying my teaching and want to hear the classes from me again and again, be sure to hit the subscribe button and share these videos with your friends. Before you go, please share your queries and comments and reviews regarding the topic as well as the way of my teaching. And if you want to practice yourself by attempting daily quizzes, join my Telegram channel. There daily quizzes are going on. You can do practice yourself for 2023 preparation. I have given the link in the description box. Stay tuned. Still many more videos to come. Until then, have a nice day. Good night.